And today we have Lauren here from Milwaukee with Kiva Zip, which she's going to tell us all about. We're excited to have her. We also want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Niter and Boucher, and Crescendo for providing awesome coffee. I don't know if you guys saw that they were featured in Bon Appetit magazine for having nitro coffee, which is a pretty cool iced coffee. I think it comes out of nitro the same way that they do nitro beer. And I'm going to look at Travis because I feel like you will correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm assuming that it is just forced, like it's not carbonated with nitrogen.
Yep. So that was pretty cool for them. And if you're a coffee lover, I suggest going over there. They're one of the few people that are offering it. Good alternative to beer. And are we good? Awesome. So I'm going to turn things over to you, Lauren.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Lauren Stinson. I'm a recent graduate from UW-Madison. I was in the business school entrepreneurship program and also the Nelson Institute for Environmental Studies. So right now I'm based in Milwaukee. I'm a Kiva Zip fellow, which I will be talking about Kiva Zip, but a little bit about our host organization, kiva.org. So we'll go through a brief overview of kiva.org, then what is Kiva Zip, a little bit about our social underwriting model, why Milwaukee is now an official Kiva city, and how you can support Kiva Zip. So has anyone heard of kiva.org before? Cool. So kiva.org was founded in 2005. Our first micro loan was dispersed in Uganda. So we are a crowdfunding platform that helps connect entrepreneurs all around the world in developing countries and now here in the US with lenders all around the world. Our loans are in increments of $25 or $5. So Kiva's impact to date, so now we're working in 86 countries. We have supported about 1.6 million entrepreneurs and have a repayment rate of 98.8%, which is pretty amazing. So a little bit about how the model works. Our network of lenders can go on our website and view all the loans that are currently posted. Once the full loan amount is collected through our website, then our field partners, one example is Axion, also the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have about 200 field partners around the world that actually take the money from our website and then disperse it on our behalf out in the field. So because our field partners have some operational costs, there is some interest on those loans. And this is why Kiva Zip was created. Our lenders can directly transfer money to entrepreneurs using PayPal. So this allows us to take out the field partner and offer 0% interest, no fee loans. So what is really the problem that Kiva Zip is trying to face in the US is that 7 out of bank loans are rejected, and one of the constraints to growth is not being able for small businesses to access capital. So Kiva Zip is a platform for small business owners in the US and also now in Kenya to raise 0% interest, no fee loans. We really have 3 main goals. One is to expand access to small business financing. The other is to reduce the cost of capital, and then to enhance the connectedness between lenders and entrepreneurs. So what's different about Kiva Zip is that we actually don't assess a borrower's creditworthiness based off of their credit score or collateral or cash flows. Instead, we look at a person's character, their business impact, their relationships, and their community. And we do that through 2 ways. One is through our relationships with trustees, which are community partners. I'll talk a little bit more about them in a second, but they are able to vouch for the credibility of a business owner using our website and can attach their name and their comments about a business owner to a loan profile. Second, we have a private fundraising period where anyone who applies for a Kiva Zip loan is required to invite 15 to 30 lenders from their personal network before we actually publish publicly on our website their loan profile. So this allows us to see that the business owner has some kind of connection and impact in their community. Their family, friends, and customers are actually willing to lend a minimum of $5 to their business loan. That shows us that there's an extra layer of support. It also reduces risk for Kiva because if someone's family member lends $25 or $100 or even $500 to their loan, we hope that their family and friends will add some credibility and some social pressure to repay that loan because we don't charge late fees. So a little bit more about trustees. Trustees can be individuals or organizations, nonprofits, for-profits. Really the role of a trustee is to find borrowers that are a good fit for our model, also to publicly vouch for their character, their business impact, and to just provide support to the borrower throughout the process. So the application process, the fundraising process, and then the repayment process. So here's some examples of Milwaukee area trustees. We've been in Milwaukee since about September, so we have about 29 trustees who have signed up so far in the state of Wisconsin. A few of them are nonprofits like WIBIC, which is actually the office that I work out of. They're the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative. They're an SBA lender and also provide technical support for entrepreneurs. So businesses that they may not be able to help yet, they can refer those clients to me, and then I can set them up with a smaller microloan, and then maybe eventually set them up to be able to apply for a larger SBA loan or bank loan. The Commons is a sort of incubator in Milwaukee that works with students. It's an entrepreneurship program, so students who are looking to start their own businesses. Fondy Food Center runs farmers markets in the Fond du Lac area of Milwaukee, and we also have some business improvement districts and some Milwaukee Chamber of Commerce involved. So here's an example endorsement. So Rebecca, she has a bakery, she makes organic caramels, and WIBIC endorsed her loan. The 4 questions on the side are what we ask the trustees to answer about the borrower. So how long they've known this person, what is their character, why do you think that they are eligible for a Kiva Zip loan, and why do you think that it would contribute to their success. So we now have an option to apply without a trustee, and this is a pilot that we're trying out in order to increase the access to our program. So for some people who live in areas, cities, states that we don't have a representative, this allows for people to apply directly online, and then we post their profile, but we also require that they invite more people from their personal network because they don't have the added credibility of a trustee partnership. So a little bit about the actual loan details. We offer first-time loans up to $5,000, second-time loans up to $10,000, and also farmers up to $10,000. We do offer grace periods for companies younger than 6 months. All of the payments are done via PayPal. There's no fees involved with that. Regular biweekly or monthly payments through PayPal. And once your loan is published publicly on our website, they're crowdfunded by 50,000 lenders, and that network is growing. So what do our borrowers use Kiva Zip for? All kinds of things: to purchase inventory, to hire new employees, marketing plans, legal fees, really anything related to operating a small business. So this is an example of one of the loans, the first loans in Wisconsin. That salsa lady, she makes homemade salsa and chips and sells them around local grocery stores and farmers markets in the Milwaukee area. So she was endorsed by WIBIC, and she has lenders from all around the world. I think it was 274 lenders helped her to raise $10,000. Okay, so what is a Kiva City? So now there are 11 Kiva cities in the U.S. Detroit was the first one in 2011. And this just means that the city provides some support and funding for the program to come into the city, work with local partners, host a big launch event, promote why this is important for the community's economic development. So our official launch date was February 17th. And so Kiva City, Milwaukee, so far, we've funded 32 borrowers, probably 33 today. And in the state of Wisconsin, I also manage the whole state, not just Milwaukee. So we have 43 fully funded borrowers since February. So how can you become a part of the Kiva Zip community? There's many ways to do that. One is to lend. So we have loans fundraising all around the country, also in Kenya, and you can visit our zip.kiva.org/loans to view all of the fundraising small business owners. You can also borrow, so if you have a small business and a microloan would help you in any way, or maybe it can also help you promote your business or just act as another line of credit. You can apply directly through our website. And then you can also become a trustee. So if you work a lot with small businesses in the community, you think this would be really valuable, you're willing to vouch for someone. Even if you're an individual, you don't necessarily work with small business owners in your day job. You just have a strong connection to the entrepreneurship environment here, and you would be willing to vouch for someone. It's a really great way to get involved and help support the community. So I don't know if we have sound on here, but maybe let's.
It might come out of your left.
Yeah, that's okay. So this is Bill Clinton spoke at the Little Rock, Arkansas launch.
We in Central Arkansas are going to be given a chance to be part of building a whole new system of credit for America. A 21st century version of what made us great in the first place. There's 69,000 really small businesses in the Little Rock area alone that employ more than 300,000 people. We cannot rebuild this economy in the world we're living in without a funding source that makes sense. And so this is a very big deal today. The idea of melding the best practices of the microcredit movement after now more than 30 years of experience with crowdfunding is what makes Kiva great. We have gotten ourselves in a situation now where the only people can get real money are people that don't need to borrow it. We've got to figure out some way to get the money to people who have new ideas every day, who will work like crazy, who have the courage to start their own business, who are willing to risk failure, because that's what makes this economy go. And I think you ought to, everybody needs to understand that. The genius of Kiva is they took everything we had learned, the lessons of what worked and what doesn't in micro lending, and the promise of crowdfunding, and putting it in to building a new economy brick by brick, or person by person, if you will. It's an exhilarating thing. And I am happy to support it, glad the Clinton Global Initiative helped Kiva along the way, and very grateful for Visa and Axion for Texas for helping them. This is a good day. And I think 5 years from now, you'll be amazed at what has happened as a result of what began on this day. Thank you very much.
Okay. Sorry, that was kind of quiet. Oops. Yeah, so that was all I had. This is my email, so please feel free to contact me if you're interested in getting involved. My email is also on this, the handout.
And what questions do you have for us as a community?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what might be some good ways to reach out to trustees, connect with some trustees here. We already have 29 in Milwaukee, and some of them work with borrowers, entrepreneurs around the state. But I think there's a really great entrepreneurship community here. I'm just wondering if you guys have some ideas for potential partnerships or connections that would benefit.
Okay, so I just want to get this straight. There's Kiva City, there's Kiva Zip, and there's Kiva. So am I right with saying that Kiva is like the main website that started this all? Now Kiva Zip is just the idea of doing it in America?
Yeah, so Kiva.org hosts Kiva Zip. The Kiva City thing just means that there's a representative and funding to support the program in that city, but it's available to anyone in the U.S. And also Kenya, which is done a little bit differently through M-Pesa, which is a mobile technology that allows us to transfer money from the internet directly to business owners in Kenya. The Kiva.org model is slightly different because we do have field partners involved that disperse our loans on our behalf, and those are all over the world, and those are a lot smaller, so $100 to $300 loans, whereas here they're $5,000, $10,000 range.
And you guys still, are you fully like donated, like to how you guys keep your funding? As like a company through like donations and like partnerships. Like I saw the Visa sponsorship over there.
Yeah, so we are a nonprofit, so most of our funding comes through an optional tip. So when you make a loan on our website, it takes out 10% of that, which you can give as a donation, so you won't get that money back on your Kiva account once a borrower repays your loan. But we also have like corporate partnerships that give us funding throughout the year.
I have a question. Is there any incentive for lenders or people to go lend? I know sometimes Kickstarter will give you, you can get different giveaways or things like that, or is this completely altruistic?
Yeah, really the incentive is just to support a small business owner. We really do try to work with people who don't have access to capital otherwise, so this is kind of their only way to really get their business started, but we're not limited based on someone's income or really their social impact. We want to be available to any small business owner in the U.S. But yeah, there is no incentive model, so it's not like Kickstarter where you get a t-shirt if you give $25. I guess an incentive could be that you do get your money back. We don't charge late fees or take collateral, so there is a small default rate on these loans. We're always hoping to reduce risk by the invited lenders and the trustee partnerships, but you do get your money back. So each month when the business owner makes the repayment, so that kind of allows people to reinvest either in their community or a different community or in Kenya or anywhere else in the world. So it kind of cycles that money that you would otherwise just give away.
When you say the money gets given back, I know with the Kiva, you don't actually get like the money back. It goes back in a Kiva account, which is like you really can't redeem. Is that the same with the Kiva Zip?
You can redeem it.
You can redeem it back like in cash? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Or through PayPal? Yeah,
so it automatically goes back into your Kiva account as Kiva credit, but you can take it out into your bank account or PayPal. It just requires an extra step.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
This isn't a question, but it just strikes me that there's going to be a lot of interest in this model in Madison. There's been a lot of attention lately to issues of equity and disparity, and I think that there's a lot of, I know WIBIC has an office here, and I think you'd find that there's a lot of community partners that would be interested in it. The City of Madison is starting a co-op program this year. Ruth Rolick is a former WIBIC staffer who's leading that. She'd be a great person to meet with, and the Feed Kitchen Incubator too on the north side seems like it might be a really fruitful source of entrepreneurs who might really benefit from microloans as they're trying to launch food businesses.
Yeah, great idea. Thank you.
Just a quick question. How are you able to do 0% loans? It doesn't really help hard fees at all.
No, we have a special partnership with them. Our CEO actually used to work for eBay and PayPal, so we have a special relationship with them where they waive the fees. So that's what really allows us to give 0% no fee. Yeah.
As a interpreter translator with the Latino community in Wisconsin, a thought comes up in my mind of if you've been working with young women, young men from maybe an undocumented population in Wisconsin or around the states, how does Kiva respond to some of the liabilities or just questions of working with a diverse population that might or might not have citizenship or other things in the country?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know exactly how they've handled those legal issues in the past. I know that we don't necessarily look at those types of things. We work with a lot of immigrant business owners in the San Francisco Bay Area where our headquarters is. I really don't know how they've addressed that or if anyone's, come with those questions, but yeah, we work with all kinds of people. So
in terms of marketing, I mean, I've never heard of Kiva Zip, and I've known of Kiva for a long time. What do you guys do to help, just promote this? I mean, it seems like a win-win thing when you, tell people, but it's just how do you guys go about telling people about Kiva Zip?
Yeah, I didn't know Kiva Zip existed until this fellowship started in January either. But Kiva.org has a lot more lenders, 1.3 million lenders, so we've kind of leveraged that network through sending emails to the millions of lenders we already have. I think one way we're able to get the word out is through our trustees. So, WIBIC in Milwaukee and our partners in Milwaukee have helped to promote the local program through, business journals and radio more locally. On the national scale, I think, we do some Google campaigns, social media type things, but, we've never advertised on TV or anything like that. We are a nonprofit, so we just really want to run by word of mouth and, grow our existing lender base through word of mouth.
I have a quick question. It seemed, or maybe a statement, it seems like if you got in touch with some of the co-working spaces in Madison and some of those groups, kind of to piggyback on what Aaron was saying, that there'd be a lot of interest and maybe a lot of people that don't know about the program yet. So that might be a place to
Definitely
make an appearance.
So how is Kiva Zip funded?
the same as Kiva.org. So through tips on our loans. So when a lender comes on our website, 10% is the optional tip that's pulled out when they check out using PayPal or credit card, and also through private donations and corporate partnerships.
Okay, so it's fully funded by essentially donations then?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit.
Yeah,
so
okay.
yeah, I'm actually a volunteer in this role. So they operate a lot with volunteers and fellows around the country. So yeah, that's how I'm here.
You just mentioned that you're a volunteer. Is there a way that people in the Madison area could get involved with promoting Kiva Zip?
Yeah, I think it would be really amazing to have a fellow here in Madison. I think there would have to be some kind of working with our headquarters to make sure that there's some support for the fellow. But yeah, that's something I would love to help them figure out, is to get a fellow or even 2 fellows here in the Madison area, and then interns from there are a possibility. But fellows are trained in San Francisco at the headquarters, so there probably needs to be one kind of leader there, and then other interns and volunteers could get involved from there.
So you were asking sort of about how to reach out to people in Madison, whether it would be trustees or donors. One thing about Madison is that it's very sort of, there's a lot of communities centered around different institutions. And so, I mean, we were just talking about the Willie Street Co-op this morning. And it's a huge sort of community that gathers around this one institution, you know, ostensibly a grocery store, but it's really about the community around it. And so if you could sort of target, say, maybe half a dozen of those communities, I mean, I'm assuming that if you set up even just a table inside Willie Street Co-op one Saturday, you would get a huge number of people, you know, signing up and donors and sort of interest in it. And so I'm not sure beyond sort of that community where the rest of them are, but that would be a great way to sort of appeal to the people of Madison and get the word out.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Willie Street also has like a micro loan fund right now, so that would be a really cool thing to get involved with.
So you have this like minimum 15 to 30 individuals. Is it you need 15 separate people to donate at least $5, or is the idea you need at least like $75 of your own like family and friends money? Is like what's the actual like minimum you need from your like initial individuals?
Yeah, so it's not based on the money amount. It's based on the number of individuals that follow your private website link. So we give all of the applicants a specific website link that they can then forward to family and friends, put on their Facebook tweet. So it's not really like private. You can only like keep it, you know, through your personal email. You can, you know, reach out to other organizations you're involved with to send it out. But that number 15 to 30 is actually based on the loan amount you're asking for and a few other pieces of your application. So if you don't have a trustee, then we'll maybe you know, make your requirement 25 instead of 15. So that specific number is different for every single applicant, but the lower end is 15, the upper end is 30. So it's the minimum loans are $5. So there's no certain amount you have to raise from family and friends. It's just that number that we require of each person.
What's like the range of the payback periods? I know like on the actual Kiva it can vary quite drastically, like how fast the repayment. So what's like the kind of like repayment range for Kiva Zip?
Yeah, so for $5,000 it's anywhere between 12 months to 24 months. You can choose that. For $2,500 loan it's 6 months to 12 months. $10,000 can be up to 36 months.
Anybody else?
So in my mind, when I'm watching this, the biggest thing that pops into my mind is sort of income disparities amongst, you know, various groups, you know, whether it's racial or, you know, gender. How much outreach are you doing to the various sort of groups that are devoted to reducing income disparity? And have you sort of targeted which ones and sort of different groups that you could talk to?
Yeah, so really our trustee outreach has been based on targeting different groups. So through our chambers of commerce, so the African American Chamber of Commerce, Hmong Chamber of Commerce, you know, we want to build partnerships with them so that they can assist you know, borrowers who might not have the technical skills or even the language barriers there, that our trustees can walk them through the application process. So as an example, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Milwaukee will help translate documents and also fill out applications with a borrower, and then can help them through the private fundraising period, you know, sending their link out to their community, just so that there is kind of that added level of assistance there for people who might not otherwise, be able to just log on to Kiva Zip, submit an application, and then, send it to 50 people. We realized that there's some barriers there, so we view our trustee partnerships as a way to reach out to people who otherwise wouldn't just find us organically. And our outreach to trustees has been based on targeting different groups, people who just have no access to bank loans at all, but also might apply for a WIBIC loan and they need an extra line of credit. Those referral partners are the ones that really help us find the borrowers who best suit our program.
And one last thing that that also I've been thinking about as you're talking about your trustees, I would expand it beyond just business specific ones to just sort of community and culture communities, because it could be that people don't even know that this exists, and so they're not even approaching, say, the Chamber of Commerce or one of these other groups, because there's no way that they could raise $5,000. It's there's no reason for them to even think about starting a small business. But if you start to expand it to, say, United Way, they could end up with the idea that maybe I could figure out what I want to do, and it sort of broadens the scope of the people that you would be reaching out to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, let's give Lauren a hand. Thank you so much. We'll use the last bit of time if anybody wants to talk to Lauren individually or has any additional questions or ideas. She'll be here to answer them. Otherwise, we've got tons of coffee today, so please fill up your cups and take a cup before you go. Thank you.